Alright, in this video I'm going to give you guys an overview of my Sig Rattler PDW conversion kit for the M4A1 carbine as it was issued by Naval Special Warfare. So, it may surprise some of you to learn that the Sig Rattler has actually been tested for a couple of years now as a PDW candidate, or personal defense weapon candidate, for the military. And while ultimately no more of these kits were ordered and the military has not moved forward with formally adopting this, there are several photos floating around of how different end users were choosing to outfit these rifles, as well as some documentation from the military on what exactly these kits were meant to accomplish, as well as the parts that were used to construct them and what accessories were issued with them. So that's mainly what I want to cover in this video, is how you can go about building one of these yourself and what parts you'll need and what options you have along the way. So getting right into it, this is not a complete weapon system from Sig. While Sig Sauer does sell a complete Rattler PDW firearm, the military decided not to purchase those because formally procuring a complete weapon system as a military consumer for the US military, it's a lengthy process, and there's a certain procedure that has to be followed in order to actually procure that at the end. Meanwhile, if you purchase something like this conversion kit, which is considered just an accessory for an existing weapon system, that's a much easier and faster process. So this isn't the first time they've done this either. The Mark 18 CQBR upper receivers and the SPR Mark 12 receivers were also examples of this. So anyway, that's the big difference between what you see here and any off-the-shelf Sig Rattler that you find at your local gun store, is the fact that this utilizes a Colt M4 Lower. In my case, this is a Colt LE 6920 lower receiver with the M4 carbine roll marks. And I've done my best to mimic the lower receivers that were seen on the military Rattlers by adding the Colt ambi selector switch and just using an A2 pistol grip and a square UID label from Carolina Laser Works. Aside from all of that, you just need the Sig Rattler conversion kit itself, which will come with your complete upper receiver in 300 blackout. There were also 5.56 kits of these ordered, which I'll get into here in a second, but the kit will also come with a trigger that is compatible with the upper receiver, as well as a stock adapter for the Sig Sauer folding stocks. So the particular stock that was issued with these is going to be the Sig folding / telescoping stock, which you see here. The commercial Rattler kit does not come with any stock, so you'll have to buy that separately. But once you have all that, you'll have a completely functional weapon system that should function just fine, suppressed and unsuppressed, with subsonic ammo or with supersonic ammo. You'll just have to have it on the correct gas setting, since these do have an adjustable gas system. So like I mentioned, there were also 5.56 Rattler uppers purchased as well, and you may be questioning, why did the military want a 5.56 upper that has a 5.5-inch barrel? And it wasn't actually to be fielded. That was just for them to use with simunition for training. So as far as the guns that actually would have been fielded and used in combat, they would have all been 300 blackouts. So moving on to accessories that were seen on these rifles. There were a few different optics that were seen. The optic that was actually documented as being issued with the Rattler conversion kit for SOCOM was the Wilcox Boss. If you're unfamiliar with the Wilcox Boss, it is a red dot, visible laser, IR laser, and IR illuminator all in one package. Now, these also had a reticle that you could switch with the flip of a switch between a supersonic point of impact and a subsonic point of impact. So that is ideal for something like the Rattler, where it allows you to take into account what type of ammo you're using, and also saves you a lot of space on accessories since it incorporates so many functions into one unit. The downside to the Wilcox Boss is that they are very, very expensive. So if you're like me and you don't want to buy a $4,000 red dot for your $2,500 rifle, then luckily for you, there were other optics that are much cheaper that were seen on these rifles. So, as far as other red dot options that go, you've got a lot of aimpoint micros with various LaRue mounts that were seen on these. EOTechs were also seen on these, as well as some personally bought optics by the end users, such as a Vortex Venom, interestingly enough. Same thing goes for vertical foregrips. If the user decided to run one at all, there were a few different brands that were seen, such as the Unity Tactical that I have here, and the BCM that were seen in another photo. Iron sights may or may not have been used with these. If they were, from what I can tell, they were Knight's Armament. And then if the user decided not to use the Wilcox Boss, which had its own infrared illuminator and laser, then these were seen with Insight LA5 PEC 15s to accomplish that function. And then as far as visible lights go, Surefire Scout lights were all that I've seen so far. So that is essentially it accessory-wise, with the exception of the suppressor. The suppressor issued on these guns was a Sig Sauer SRD 762-QD. So this was the steel version of the quick detach SRD 762. Not the titanium version. The steel version, while being more durable, is also a little shorter and a little skinnier, and just more ideal for a weapon that you're trying to keep small and compact. Unfortunately, for anyone wanting to clone this rifle, those suppressors are now discontinued, as are all of the SRD 762 suppressors. So the closest that I was able to find for this is a titanium version of that. It's the SRD 762 Ti-QD, which is a little fatter and a little bit longer, but still locks onto the same QD muzzle device that was seen on the naval rattlers, which you'll also have to purchase separately yourself. The standard 3-prong that the Rattler Upper comes with will not accommodate a suppressor. So anyway, I don't have the suppressor yet because it's still in NFA jail, but once I get that in, I may do a review on it if that's something you guys want to see, so just let me know. But anyway, if you have any other questions on these guns, feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.